right, mate. That's fucking right, mate. Too right. You know what they've wasted the fucking time doing? Instead of fixing the servers, instead of fixing a plethora of actual gameplay issues, but they've gone ahead and they've removed game chat to make a more comfortable environment. What? What? Oh. What? 38 minutes? 38, mate. Until I could get into a quick play game, mate. The game's done. It's maintenance mode FC, mate. Game's straight up maintenance mode. We're done out here.
Mentioning my name. Never do it again, my friend. You push one button too far. So here to you. Have that. You. Let's see you. Let's see where your balls are now, mate. Let's have it to fucking day.
Before we begin this video, I would like to say I have created a montage. It's very, very different to any montage out there, I think, in the Gears 5 scene.
It's GGZII with the tool, but we know what he's capable of. What's he gonna do? Looks up to middle bridge, flicks it and sticks it with an absolutely audacious shot.
And I'm actually pretty proud of the way it turned out. Pretty damn pleased with how it turned out, and I'd love to see you check out the video. Now, let's get into it. Whoever the fuck is watching this video, do not buy this game. Please, if there is anything I can glean from this video, please, if you are thinking of buying Gears 5, do not buy it. Never buy it, never touch it. I don't care if they fix it, I don't care if it gets fixed, I don't care if they put out a title update. Don't touch this game. A company that has had 3 years to create a game can launch a game in this state, do not deserve time. They do not deserve your money, your support, your effort. Put it into something else. Please put it into something else. This is the worst online game I have played ever. It doesn't work. It actually doesn't have servers. It doesn't function. I can play better quality games on Gears of War 1 in 2006 on an Xbox, and here I am in almost 2020, fucking 2020, and this is the quality of shit I get served up. I've tried being nice, I've tried making videos with tips and ideas and better ways to communicate and how to help the company. They don't give a singular fuck. I'm playing in games, 100 ping, 87, 100, 100, a quitter. You don't get punished for quitting. We have 2 Americans here running the lobby with 32 kills each because they're the only players that function. We've got 2 Australians in the game. And here I am in fucking 2021 playing the same opponent. I'm still playing 200, 150 ping players, and they're still not fucking listening, mate. They're not listening. In fact, mate, you want to know something fucking hilarious? They're not only not listening, and they've not only kicked out half the development team and the whole fucking studio's in an absolute fucking mess, but I tell you what update they've done today, boys. Let me just bring it up on screen, mate. Yeah, that's right. That's right, mate. That's right, mate. That's fucking right, mate. Too right. You know what they've wasted the fucking time doing? Instead of fixing the servers, instead of fixing a plethora of actual gameplay issues and just core issues that stop the game actually working or being enjoyable, but they've gone ahead and they've removed game chat to make a more comfortable environment for all of our players. Let's just get rid of the S there and just put player, because there's no fucking people playing this game, mate. I don't care what your figures say, mate. In the grand scheme of fucking gaming, mate, the game's done. It's maintenance mode FC, mate. It's StarCraft 2, mate. They've pulled a Blizzard, I'm telling you. The game's straight up maintenance mode. We're done out here. We're done. People are telling me, oh, stick with it, stick with it. No, listen. The 2 people I liked at the studio, Node and Dana, have left. I've been called clickbait by others. I've been ignored by others. I have no allegiance to the coalition anymore. So I just say what the fuck Why have they done it? Why have they done it, guys? Because it's the same fucking company that did the launch. I'll tell you why they've done it. Because every time there's an influx of players, they do some fucking weird shit. When the game launched, it was an absolute shit show to appease new players. I don't care what the devs say. That's exactly what it was. There was then a period where they turned the boat around, the metaphorical boat around. And then there was another large launch. And do you remember all of the issues got snuck back in? A few of you hardcore viewers that have been watching the channel for this long will remember. And we were like, whoa, why are all of these noob issues going back into the game? Then we figured out the game was on sale. It was happening again. And then the devs were like, no, there's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. Well, that was just an accident. It slipped in. Then again, the game goes free on gold. The game goes free on gold, and what do they spend their time doing? We've done a title update that's disabled the in-game text to create a more comfortable environment. So, the new players signed into Gears 5 are going to play Horde mode, they're going to play Escape mode, and they're not going to be able to communicate via text or receive stuff like, hey, can we buy this? Can we move this? And it might seem like a small thing, but it's such a fucking pathetic update. It's such a pathetic update that you can turn the text chat back on. And why are they doing it? They're doing it so people are just laughing. People are just fucking laughing at you. Your game's a joke, mate. They're just laughing at you. You're so out of touch. You're so unbelievably out of touch with the Gears community that the response wasn't like, well done, guys, this is what we've been looking for. This is the thing that's going to turn the game around. Everyone was just like, what the fuck's this? What's this about? You want to know why it's hilarious? You could just, you know what you could do? What could we do, guys? Let's brainstorm. How about you just ban the fucking N-word so you can't type it in chat? I remember playing against a guy called Ramsey Boltock, and he spammed the N-word at me whilst I was streaming all day. There's a text filter. Just improve your goddamn text filter. It can't be that difficult. And if you can't do that, if we can't expect you to be able to ban the N-word or the F-word or whatever words you want to ban in your comfortable environment and waste our fucking time with more development shit that doesn't fix the core problem. Yesterday, I spent 38 minutes. I reinstalled the game and I thought, I'm giving you one more chance. And I spent 38 minutes, 38, mate, until I could get into a quick play game. I tried Guardian, the game wouldn't start, there was no players. I tried TDM, 11-minute queue, no games. I tried King of the Hill, I got in 2 games that instantaneously ended because I joined at the end. So I sat and I waited and I waited and I waited. The game then started 3v1 versus me. It started 3v1 versus me. And then the game instantly ended. Uneven teams instantly ended. So I was trying to complete a ranked ban because the servers disconnected me. And the rank ban is get 2,000 points in a quick match. And 2,000 points is effectively like 1.5 bloody ring captures, like 1 elimination, and then walk around the map for 20 minutes. That is not teaching people not to quit. The game's still got quitting issues. The game's still got quitting issues since launch. Everyone that's watching this video will know that the variety of pings in the lobby is a complete shitfest. Some games everybody's on 20 ping, but it feels like everyone's on 300. Some games everyone's on 100 ping and it feels fine. And then other games there's like 30, 100, 250, 300, 20. There's just a whole pot. There's just a mixing pot of pings mixed with lag compensation that's just wacky. And the whole game breaks. You've got pellets missing left, right, and center. You've got an aiming system where you can put the reticule on somebody and it won't go where the bullet says it's going to go. You've got developers wasting time tweaking bits of the game to make it more clear, yet still there's a reaction shot in the game that lets you fire a boom shot out of your fucking arsehole, mate. Like, they might say, oh, you've been over the top, you've been over the top. The point is, mate, it's a crapshoot. They don't know what they're doing, mate. They don't know what they're doing. There's no direction. Oh, mate, I'm recording on fucking day 2, mate. I'm still fucking tilted. Look at this game, mate. When you look at the game and you just compare where it's gone and where it's at, there are games like Halo 4 that can have robots in them, but they're still in this dark jungle, and it still looks Halo. You're still in space. You've still got the cool bridges. When you look at Gears 2 and Gears 1, and even Gears 3, and you see the weight, the gore, the punches, the fight. You know, look, the flinching, there's bullets, there's blood coming out. There's actual weight and the feeling to the mechanics. You know, people have animations, they're getting stunned, they're getting ragdolled, it feels impactful. And then you play Gears 5 and it people just flop over. They just flop over. It's like everything's just airy fairy, like there's no punch, there's no impactful. Like, he is walking at this man, he's definitely getting shot, whereas now it's like, hey, I'm just gonna run in this really smooth animation. Like, yes, this looks janky, there's the roadie run shake, his animations flailing everywhere, but this was like 10 plus years ago. If we were still improving the franchise, then this would be amped up with graphic power, you know, of an RTX 2080 Ti, an RTX 3080, whereas what we've got are these slug creatures leaving like tiny drop of blood that fades away to save performance, and it just doesn't look better than previous franchises. It's just gone backwards. Okay, so this video just doesn't come across as some dude just randomly raging at a video game for no reason. I wanted to just mention some of the things that we may have forgotten before we get into the whole heated rant. Now, I want you to note, this isn't GGZII being like, oh, I absolutely hate this video game, but I'm going to keep playing it. I typically don't play things I enjoy. I have enjoyed Gears 5. I would not have played Gears 5 for a year and a half if I didn't enjoy it. That would be crazy. Yes, I've had my issues. Yes, we've tried to help the franchise. Yes, not everything's gone correct, but I've had a lot of fun. So I want that to be clear. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have fun, because again, that would be crazy just to relentlessly play something you don't like when there's other options out there. However, I am frustrated and have sort of come to an end with Gears 5, and I want to explain why. So before we get into the absolute major issues where I might end up getting heated, who knows, let's just talk about some of the small things. Let's talk about re-up rewards. When the game first released and you played to level 100, the first reward you were greeted with was some sort of desert skin. This is a desert skin for a singular gun. When you reached rank 200, you were greeted with some sort of random desert skin. Rank 300, 400, 500, 600, etc. This continued on, and the rewards were utterly terrible and utterly pointless. There is some re-up reward changes coming, and that's okay, but the point is, I cannot understand in any way, shape or form how it was allowed to release with these rewards. Was there not a single person in the office that said, listen, giving out a desert camo skin every single time, when desert camo is one of the most pointless, disliked camos ever, what is even going on? Who came up with that idea and who signed it off? Because there's no possible way, I just do not believe it, that a game studio that created Gears of War can agree that that's okay. There must have been some, I'm hoping to God there must have been something different, and that's why it was launched in the state that it was, because nobody can have actually thought that was okay, and if they did, they are not fit to manage that period of cosmetic reward based things. Whoever signed that off needs a check in the head, a check in reality. I'm sorry, but they do. Exclusivity is a massive problem in this game, meaning when you grind for something, when you put time in, when you put effort in to unlock something, you are doing it on the premise, on the basis that you are receiving something for your time that is maybe a timed exclusive, maybe it's an exclusive, but you're doing it for a reason. You're doing it so you can show off the fact you've earned it. So when they told us that the tour of duties were, I was there, time and time again they told us, it's like the John Wick Fortnite skin. It's as seen as I was there. If you want these rewards, you have to do the tour and you have to grind them. And me and my friends sat there and we did all of the boring tours. We did tour 1, tour 2, tour 3, we did them all, only to then have them released in the shop for coins. Now people will say, hey, the skins shouldn't have been in the tour in the first place. Maybe so, but the point is, if you're offering a player exclusivity and then you take it away, that takes away trust, and this is what the whole entire problem of Gears 5 has been: trust. Nobody can trust the teams because nobody knows where the direction is going. Nobody can trust that it'll stay the same or that it will change. There is no trust. When we talk about maps, props to TC. TC are the first Gears of War franchise sort of owners. You know, you've had Epic and you've had TC, in fairness to them, got rid of map packs that were paid that split up the player base. I'm in big favour of that. Now, Gears of War 1 gave the map packs away for free. For the most part, they've been paid. Now, TC did a good job here, and they took away that, and they made them free. However, the maps we were receiving, again, broke trust. So, the maps they produced, number one was Panahu. Panahu was like an absolutely awful map. It was an open field, and it was so bad it was taken out of rotation. The maps we were given at launch were like these high rifle maps designed for a certain style of play, again, that broke trust. When I asked on day one, hey, have these maps been designed with Lancer fire in mind? The statement they said was no. That's a lie. I know that's a lie because Gears of War has a Lancer in the game. It was almost a trick question. Of course the map must have been designed with Lancer in play. It's one of the main guns in the game. So if it's not been designed with Lancer map in play, it's bad. Because what the hell are you doing? And if it is designed entirely based around, hey, how can we make the Lancers better? What the hell are you doing? So that question, right from the get-go, broke my trust. Then we've got weapons. I find the weapons in the game utterly boring. This is a big complaint. You know, this is a shooting game. Think about this. And the guns, like the Markser, the Talon, the Ember, which is basically like a torque bow that you're not punished for charging, so they can just relentlessly charge, let go, charge, let go. It's irritating. If I could play Panahu and both teams had a Hammer of Dawn and we were hammering a Dawn across Panahu, and then there was cave constructure and cave geo that you could get inside and protect yourself, a bit like a modernized, renovated rooftops, that's an idea of how to bring back an old classic theme but modernize it with the new theme. But no one's doing it, and it seems to be, you know, I have ideas. I'm not saying listen to me or anything like that, but if I can sit here and have these ideas, surely these professionals that are paid wedge to do it can. So I'm okay with having new experiences. Put Panahu in the game, but make it work with classic-esque gameplay. It's not that difficult to do, honestly. Yeah, just to interject as well, we've also got the fact that not only are these weapons a bit boring, but they've also plastered them all over the game. Every map, as if to say, we made these, you're going to use them, rather than putting some old weapons in like the digger to break cover. The sniper is an exhibit. So you pick up the sniper and you think, hey, this map's pretty good with a sniper. Then the next round, it swaps for an enforcer. Nobody uses the enforcer, it's boring. The way TC balance their guns is telemetry, and the way they balance their guns is facts and figures. So they say, oh, the Talon hasn't been used enough, let's buff it. Oh, the Talon's been used too much, let's nerf it. They don't go off the fact that people often pick up guns for other factors like fun and enjoyment, and maybe it's okay to be a little bit weaker, and maybe it's okay to be a little bit stronger if it's in a position of power. So what I mean by that is, at the beginning of training grounds, the side weapons, I think they were Boltox, and they were also overkills, and the overkills had like a 20 to 30 second cooldown, and they had a lot of ammo capacity. So basically, if you wanted to play and run around with the really overpowered overkills the whole game, you could get them all the time because you spawned at the side of the map, so you weren't being contested, you could pick up the weapon for free. Now, after like a year and a half, they put the overkill in the middle, so you have to contest over it, and it makes more sense. But it took them a year and a half to figure that out. They made Gears 4. They've been doing this for a long time, and surely by now they know, or surely they have someone at the studio that can say, yeah, maybe don't put that on a 10-second timer. This strange thing where you can active reload without firing a bullet. So basically the first boomer you can active reload, which guarantees a kill because it's like a huge explosive. So they also added in this weird reload system where you can reload without even using bullets, which is just strange. So yeah, these weapons are very boring, like the Talon pistol, the Enforcer. So when they're not used, people aren't picking them up because they're boring. But they see the stats and they say, oh, the Talon isn't been used, or the Enforcer isn't been used. Okay, let's buff them. So they seem to be quite big-headed in the sense of, it's like, we made these weapons, you're going to use them, rather than just put in the weapons that the community want. Like, the community for the longest time like to fight two snipes, like having snipe outs. Maybe there's a torque bow somewhere, like an explosive to fight over, some nades, and then maybe there's like a different kind of weapon, like a heavy weapon, like a mulcher or a mortar, or yeah, maybe like a hammer, something like that, right? Whereas nowadays there's like 10 weapons on the map that all kind of do the same thing, but ever so slightly different. Like the claw, it's a big rifle that rifles people down. The Lancer GL, sorry, it's like a big rifle that rifles people down. It does it kind of fast. Okay. The Enforcer, it's like a rifle and it rifles people down really fast, but it's a bit shorter range. The Markser, it's a long range rifle that you can down people with. The Talon, okay, it's a pistol that shoots really fast and you can down. Like the guns aren't exciting. And then you've just got confusing balance things. Like okay, the rifles are really overpowered, we've nerfed them, and then we've added more bullets to the clip. And now it's got 40 bullets in the clip. So yes, the rifle is a bit weaker, but you try to push somebody, they never have to swap to their weapon because there's now 40 bullets in a clip. Why was that put in the game? Because people complained that when they downed somebody, this is true, they had to swap to their pistol to finish them off. Well, I'm sorry, mate. If that's the caliber of skill that we're aiming for, then there's no wonder this franchise is dead, mate. The hammerbursts were really powerful. They were a two-shot, another rifle down you. Okay, they're a bit too powerful, let's nerf them. Okay, now they're kind of just like a Lancer, so what's the point of me picking them up? They said it was the most mixed up gears ever, but I think it's like the most bland gears, to be honest. It's so bland. Then we have issues where, yes, the community wanted like River, they wanted classic maps, but you as developers must know your game and must know how it plays out. And you've got to sit up and you've got to have a spine and you've got to say, listen, I know you like River, but River is not going to work on the way the game is. It's a modern game, fast animations, there's lots of new things in, and it's not going to play the way it used to play many, many moons ago. Now, if you put that out there and you say that, hey, fair play. You say to them, listen, I know you want the classic experience, here it is. It might be a bit janky at times because it's an older map built for different things, but hey, off you go, enjoy it. They didn't. They came out and they told us, we've really worked hard on making these modern maps, these old maps work on sort of the modern Gears 5, and they just don't. There's such a huge... So I feel like they've lacked the strength to say this map doesn't work, we're going to make our own map, or they've even lacked the ability to tweak things. Panahu came out in the game, and I feel like, listen, if the players want to play on Panahu and they want to vote it, they can do. Now, if they all want to veto it, they can also do it. But what they did was they said to us, hey, that's not good enough, that map. It plays too poorly. They took it out of the rotation. So they took one of our only maps away from us, and it's still not in King of the Hill rotation. What are they doing to fix it? They could quite quickly just do an update and change the way the weapons work, or, you know, they're not doing anything. So the maps, the way they were produced, the speed they're produced, the amount of them just simply wasn't good enough. Burners, you can go and you can make a brand new Xbox account which will give you 3 months of Game Pass for £1, which is like $1, and then you can run amok in ranked or run amok in quick match, and there's no way to deal with smurfs. This is a thing now. When elo systems exist and when ranking system exists, people smurf. That's what they do. They want to crush new players and feel good about themselves. Happens in every game. This isn't a Gears problem. However, other games have detections in place to be like, this guy's definitely a smurf. We're taking you into a different area of the game, a different matchmaking parameter, and you're now going to play other people. You don't get to shit stomp new players. So the burner accounts and in general the way the game plays for new players to be introduced into the franchise, we're talking the boot camp where the first control schemes are inverted for some reason, the fact that the control scheme could be the shooter control scheme for new players, however they put the archaic old control scheme with many problems like rolling and running, and then it turns people away because they're rolling and running and don't know how to use cover. So not only do we have smurfs and bad ranking systems crushing new players, we have no tutorials really designed to help new players in game. It's a very weird, difficult game to learn, and the game company themselves still don't do anything to help them. We have issues that have been here since, you know, forever. Poor AI. The AI in like escape mode is just kind of like, we don't get smarter, we just do the exact thing, but we just deal more damage. It's not fun, it's boring. The AI in the game just isn't, it doesn't feel like a 2021 exciting, innovative AI. They're just like these, like drones that kind of worked in Gears 1 because they're like mindless drones that, but nowadays we've got like it just doesn't function. The AI isn't good enough. We've got little issues all of the time, like duplicate cards. So when you grind, let's say you're really into Gears and you grind PvE, the duplicate cards, which is basically when you rank up, they give you out some skill cards to level up. You get a ton of duplicates. Since day one, I remember covering day one, people have said, hey, what can we do with all these duplicate cards? Like, I'm getting duplicate cards. Can I vendor them for XP? What can I do? Can I trade them? Can I level them up? What's the point of me having 300 of this same card? And here we are a year and a half later with still duplicate card issues. And it's like, what are you doing? Because this paints the message, and this is really where I'm going with this, is it paints the message that they don't have a clue. Because if they really were invested, and listen to me carefully, if they were really invested in PvE, they would be improving the AI, they would be making PvE levels, which they've stopped doing due to the tile system, which we can talk about in the future. They would be generating these new levels, generating new AI, improving the cards, and constantly rebalancing the meta. The only way the game gets rebalanced is like once every 3 months there is a title update that occasionally changes some cards. It doesn't fundamentally really change how the game plays. They tweak a few balance things. Now, if you've ever played a PvE game or a PvP game like League of Legends and something wasn't good enough or something was too strong, to wait 3 months for a small tweak isn't good enough. So you could argue, oh, the cadence of their updates aren't good enough. That's not TC's fault. Well, it is. And that shows that they're not really paying attention to PvE. So if they're not paying attention to PvE and they're not paying that much attention to multiplayer, then what else are they paying attention to? Is it arcade mode? Arcade mode was released, and it was this idea of an economy. So you get kills, you purchase a gun, you can spawn the gun in, and each of the characters have unique abilities. Okay, that sounds kind of interesting. But there's been no changes to it, basically, for a year and a half. So even if you liked arcade mode, nothing's changed. Arcade mode also had the problem that the reason characters were delayed so much in the game was because when they were going to put the character into the game, the devs had to think of, okay, what ultimate ability and what special abilities is this character going to have in the arcade mode? Now, I told them from day one, you need to separate them. Surely you can release the character model in PvP, and then once you've figured out what the hell's going on with PvE, you can then put it in PvE. They didn't. They took months and months and months and months until they eventually separated this thing. And now arcade mode is dead. It receives no updates. It also has different movement. Each game mode sort of has different movement. PvE has different movement to arcade, which has different movement to ranked. This is a jarring experience. You don't play Counter-Strike and all of the game modes have different movement. Now, you can have the same movement but with abilities, but to change the way the core fundamental movement works in each of the modes, add abilities on top and change the way balance works. The PvE shotgun is different to the arcade shotgun, which is different to the ranked shotgun. And that's okay if it was all really, really well explained, but it's not. And all it does is make a jarring experience for new players, which, again, there we go. Speaking of new players, the servers were completely ass on launch. A lot of good faith was wasted when the servers were shocking at launch, because when I was sat in Discord and I was saying to the community manager at the time that was Octus, hey, mate, no EU players can play online. We could see them sat in Discord. And they were playing the game. They were online in Discord, sat playing the game. You could see them changing. Oh, he's playing ranked TDM. He's playing this. They were all playing the game, not responding to us. That lost a lot of faith. So when Dr. Disrespect, when Shroud, when these people started to play the game and get the game noticed like Ninja, and none of the servers worked, and your company wasn't responding to anybody, and then for a month plus there was no EU servers, and a lot of traction has gone, completely gone, and you'll never get that back, because if you sort of make people's faith waver, they will leave. So we've also got those issues. We've also got the choices, like the campaign. So, okay, you put a choice in the campaign, that's fine, that's your right to do so, but you've put it on 2 characters here. So, unless you're going down the Mass Effect route, where you're going to create 2 sort of campaigns that, hey, I saved this guy but killed this guy, this is what happened, and vice versa, unless you're doing that, then you're making the other then basically you're making the choice pointless. The way it's going to be is either the choice was impactful and it changes the way the campaign goes completely, so you'll have two campaigns, or it really wasn't impactful, so what was the point? You know, there are certain modes that were in quick play and then they were put into ranked and then they were taken out of ranked, and you know, that makes sense, okay? If you don't want a certain mode to be ranked, it makes sense. But when the clarification of that, when the communication wasn't good enough, people would just sign in, not see they were able to play Guardian, or not see they were able to play Execution on launch, and were frustrated and left. Another thing that really sort of wound me up right at the very beginning was there was no Execution in the game. Now, I personally think that Execution has had its time, and it's time to innovate and make that better. We can get a better version of Execution in 2021. So I can understand them removing Execution. Okay, that's what they've chosen to do. I'm fine with it. But Nick Merckx came out on Twitter and basically cried that there was no Execution in the game, and then they put it back in the game. So this is another example of pandering. TC are pandering. They're desperate to get views. They're desperate to get praise. They're desperate to be seen as we're listening. This is why they change PvE, they change PvP, they change game modes that are coming in and out, because they are listening. But hear me out, it's a problem. You can listen but still be a dev and be like, listen, I understand you want Execution, but it doesn't work. So maybe in the future we'll come back and we'll create a better version of it, but right now it's not in the game. Trust me on this. But just pandering to like social media and all of this stuff makes the game very jarring. This is why we have some changes that are fast and help the people that like it fast, some people that want it slow. It's sort of like Halo. I saw a clip yesterday where somebody had a clip where he got like a killtacular on Halo 3, and the title of the video was Halo 3 is slow ... And there was a load of comments saying, yeah, I hate the new style of Halo, it's too fast. And then there was a load of people saying, exactly, Halo 3 is great, it can be fast, it reminded me of Gears. And Halo sort of went down that road as well. They're trying to like keep the old fans but modernize it, and there is a problem with Gears fans. I will admit that Gears fans can't let go, and Gears fans can't adapt, and Gears fans don't really want change, even though they say they do. But there is also a large part of, a lot of the time, actually the changes that go on are just flat out bad. And this pandering to like the pros, to Twitter, to the forums, to YouTubers, it's like when you're listening to so much feedback, they see that as a good thing, whereas I see that as a bad thing in many ways. So there's all of this mismatch of all of this stuff, and we haven't even touched upon like annoying things like developers messaging me saying, we've had 2 meetings about the netcode, I'm going to update you on Friday about how it went, which is just a lie. Like, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me about that shit. Just tell me, listen, I understand your netcode video, but we can't fix the netcode. I appreciate the effort you've gone to, but there's nothing we can do. I'd respect that more than like doing multiple messages and tweets at me saying, oh yeah, we've heard this and it's definitely on the cards, when it never is. It just burns trust. It burns my faith. So we've also had the issue of when the game first launched, it was like 1 star on the Windows Marketplace. And for a small period of time, the reviews were removed. Now, I think some of them have been reinstated. When I've gone back on the Windows Store, my old review is still there. However, when you go to look at reviews, there are 10 1-star reviews, 10 2-star reviews, I think there's like 50 5-star reviews, and if I'm being honest, the way the internet works and how angry everybody gets, there's no way on earth that Gears of War 5 has only 10 1-star reviews. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but there's definitely been something going on there, whether that's Windows' fault or TC or whatever, but that irked me as well, that got fudged up. Then there's just a whole other plethora of issues that we can get into, but I don't want to come across as an absolute raging, shouting clown when there's actually a lot of proper issues here, such as when you rev your chainsaw, it's on the same button as the reload button, and when you get shot, your gun jams. This has been in the game since like launch, and now it's been fixed, but it's like a year and a half later. If this was a big company like, I don't know, Activision, or even like a small to large, strong I won't really call them indie, but like GGG, Grinding Gear Games, This kind of fix would be a small little header on a patch note list, as long as, you know, as long as my body. But on Gears, we have to wait and wait and wait for these things. One of the most amusing things was when we had, I think it was Operation 3 was launched, and there was quite a lot of content. This was when the game was getting better, I will admit. Operation 1 wasn't the best, Operation 2 was an improvement, Operation 3 was good, then we've just gone backwards from there. Operation 3 had like, I think it was like 2.5 pages of notes, and they released them on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I asked Dana, who's no longer with us, why not set a date and post all of the patch notes at once and get the community hyped up to review them all on Friday and talk about them and speculate and make it into a day, kind of like patch note day on Path of Exile. And the response was, the patch notes are very long and we're not sure our customers could basically take in all of that information at once. That somewhere on the internet, not verbatim, but that's basically what it said. That's on the internet somewhere that it tweeted at me. And it's kind of like, so what, Gears players can't read more than one page? People are going to come at me and they're going to say, you're so negative, bro. You're so negative. No, I've put a lot of time into this franchise. I sat and watched an entire tournament and gave the company feedback on how they can improve it as a viewer. How can they get casuals in? How can they grow the scene? I tried to help the scene out, and one of the esports were like, no, we don't want you to put our videos on your channel. We want to keep the views for ourselves. And you know what their videos got? They got like 5 views each, and now the scene's been cut. The scene doesn't want to help itself, neither does the devs. They're just not listening, man. Another video, top 10 positive things I like about Gears 5. 4,000 views, 300 likes. Here's a ton of things that I like about Gears 5. It's not all negative on the channel. Yes, if you tune in and you see the negativity, that's because I'm passionate about the game. If you tune in and, you know, I've been doing the developer stream since blooming 2019 October, and I was giving you the questions, I was chopping down 4-hour videos, and I was getting involvement. Then we've made montages and I tried to get people involved. I gave editors out clips. We've had a full review, 11,000 views, full review, in trying to improve. TC has improved massively, 6,000 views, 330 likes, 200 comments. Here's me giving TC praise. Another one coming in. Operation 4 PvE looks fantastic. People into the aspect of grinding. 5,000 views, 263 likes. Broken down into sections. Tips and tricks on how to get every star. How to make the grind less boring. How to make it more fun. How to do certain ones quicker. How to get certain juvie kills. This is what I was willing to put into the game, and I have put into the game to help grow the franchise. And all that's ended up happening is a year and a half later, I'm playing on these shit ass servers, mate. And on top of that, man, like, not only were you getting these like cool skins and banners that you were grinding the tour for, and I was playing and I was showcasing them and I was grinding the tour and I was helping the community out, they then put the exclusivity, and they said, oh, some of the communities cried that they have to grind a Tour of Duty to unlock exclusive skins. We're now going to give you out all of the skins for coins. And everyone went, hurrah, free skins, this is amazing. Now what's happened is the Tour of Duty is bland and boring, because why would I sit and grind a tour for skins that are just going to come out for coins that I can just earn for playing anyway? Why would I interact with the Tour of Duty? The only thing that's left in the Tour of Duty that is exclusive is the general, and hell, even that we've had variants of. Like, we had Ronan Cantus, but we also had variants of the Ronan skin that came out, so we're definitely getting close to revealing the generals anyway. So we can't even grind the tour and trust that that's going to be exclusive, because they changed their exclusivity like left and right. We've had dev streams that have just literally just been pure comedy. 7,000 views, 500 likes. A lot of it has just been, it's just been outrageous how they have treated the community. It really has, and I've sunk a lot of time into it, and people will say I've been negative, and listen, I've put so much fucking effort into this franchise, more than you know, and yeah, I'm pissed off, Nate, because the way it's gone, there was a point where me and my friends were all playing it, and it was good fun. Yeah, there was some problems, but we were like, you know what, if they iron out these problems and they tweak a few things, this could be a great game. It's still the same mess that it is at launch. And how long have we had now? It's beyond a joke, mate. We're just here like where people are making their own Discord server to try play some competitive games because there's no hope of getting a good competitive game via the ranking system. As a dev, do you not sit there and think, this is embarrassing? We're a AAA franchise and people are having to make our own Discord with a bot that applies numbers and elo to people because we can't get the ranking system correct. It's ridiculous. And yeah, people are just telling me that I'm negative, that it's this and that and I should accept it and it's not that bad. But the point is, man, it could have been great, and it's just a complete lack of direction. I tell you what's also annoying about this is one of the main reasons we bought the game was 3-player co-op. That's why I bought the game. 3-player co-op doesn't even work. Jack as a character doesn't even function, and when I played as Jack on insane difficulty, you'd get shot by one bullet and die. If you moved, you decloaked, you got shot, you die. You couldn't play as Jack in 3-player co-op insane. It just didn't work, and it showed to me they didn't bloody test the game right from the get-go. And on top of that, the campaign was so blasé, it was so boring, it was so should I say forgettable. It was so forgettable. You know, there's that much that's happened in the game, and there's that much that's gone on that sometimes you even forget what has gone on. And now I'm just sat here remembering one of the main reasons, apart from the co-op that I bought the game, was I wanted to design my own maps. They had a map editor. That was the selling thing. Gears 5 design your own maps. And I was like, I like Gears. I'd love to design my own map. Imagine like a Halo 4 map designer. I was like, well, a Halo 3 map designer. I was like, well, it's probably not going to be good as Forge because you can move the weapons around. But I was like, bro, imagine I could move the grenades around and I could, instead of having a sniper here, I could move the sniper to this location and we could test out in privates how that affects gameplay. Maybe we could create our own MLG variant by moving swaps around and changing things. Maybe I could place a new piece of cover. I don't know how detailed it's going to be. This is so exciting. And it's not even in the game. And why is it not in the game? Because, quote, the community didn't want it. That's what they said. On a dev stream on my channel, I remember specifically, somebody asked about tiles and they said, oh, when are we going to get new escape tiles? And they said, yeah, we're stopping making tiles because nobody likes tiles. We're now going to make more custom maps. And we've scrapped the multiplayer map maker after a year because nobody wants it. When were we asked this? I'm pretty sure if you asked the Gears community, do you want a map maker? They'd all be like, of course we want a map maker. What they meant to say was, we can't make any more tiles for any more escapes because you all want regular maps and we don't have the dev size to do tiles and maps. So we've decided to go for maps, and because we've made maps, we then can't make hundreds of tiles to do a map maker, so we're cutting it. Good luck. See ya. Talk about the ranking system, because I did a poll on my channel. We had 47 votes, 168 votes, and 363 votes. I also had a Twitter poll, which I think had about 150 votes. So we probably had like near 1,000 votes for the content. We got the results in. The results are in. Most people say that ranked is very average or poor. And the 39 comments we received, every single person basically seems to say, like, I love Gears of War, but it's done. I've achieved the rank, it's too easy. Why would I play? I get the exact same experience playing ranked as in social. Ranked matching needs to change. Diamond and Masters is too easy to achieve. I love the game, I really hate the constant lag. Don't like ranked, don't like stacks. Ranked isn't really competitive at all. You're just queuing with a random bunch of people who are going to be paired with, who are probably going to be utterly terrible. You get 4v5 Lancer Beam stacks, and I'm playing on EU servers, even though I'm NA and I get 120 ping. The ranking system is awful. Yeah, ranked is okay if it gives you points in such a certain way that they've done. However, the matchmaking is ridiculous. Ranked is so bad, their tiers are not their skill. So everyone, Gears 5 is trash, point blank simple. Masters rank isn't even about skill anymore. Masters at least used to mean something when there was points per minute. On this new ranking system, it makes no sense. I haven't played ranked since this operation. Poor, ranked is average. Barely anybody thinks their ranked is good, and good is like okay, you know. And there's just this people aren't enjoying. They're not enjoying the game at all. And about 6 months ago, I did an entire video documenting the process of playing 2 weeks ranked, getting community feedback, and writing down all the things that were good and bad about it. And you know what their response was? Hey, listen, Z, we understand stacks are a problem. We've solved it. I went, oh shit, they've solved stack problems. This is going to be great. What are we playing? What are we playing, boys? Yeah, they took stacks out of TDM. TDM is like the casual, like, sort of, even if it's not casual, it's the most visually recognizable game mode when you come from another game. Hey, I understand what TDM is. I'm going to jump in and play some TDM. And you can't play with your friends. You can't play with your friends. TDM is like the one game mode where I'd probably allow stacks if you're going to allow stacks, because it makes more sense in there. But then they took them out of ranked TDM and then kept them in King of the Hill, and King of the Hill is are full of setups. So once you've set up on a hill, not only do the players not have to stand in the hill because it's not blitz, I don't know why, but it's not blitz, so you don't have to stand in the hill. You're not really King of the Hill, you're King of the Capture and set up. Then you've got to break the setup, and no one has to move around, and everyone's in a stack. And it's like, you've got setups, what's the problem? When people stack up on it, okay, how do we solve it? Take them out of TDM. I have an idea of what I'd like the game to be like, I have a rough idea, but I don't know anything. But the point is, it's not just me, is it? There's so many other people out there that are clearly not enjoying the game. There's something that needs to be done, and I tell you what, it's not wasting time disabling a text filter so people feel more uncomfortable when, hello, your own esports section of people, which is absolutely baffling. The people that run the GGZII Twitter account, I've got a video on my channel where they were telling people to kill themselves. They're running the GGZII Twitter section. Moo Milk told 300,000 subscribers to find out where I am and physically harm me, and he's a TC partner at the time, and nothing was done about that. You have people that get somebody down in the middle of a competitive game, stand up over their monitor, start talking shit, and literally get their characters to 5-man fucking rape a guy on the floor. Hey, but let's add some blood sprays in there as well to tilt people. And what should we do? Okay, let's disable the chat because that's going to solve the toxicity problem. Direction. Cliffy B, everyone gave him so much abuse about Gears 2 stopping power and the map and not the map design, and like the way the game played, right? Myself included. I hated it. But he stuck with it. And if you want to go and play that style, Gears 2 is the only game that's going to give you that style. Gears 3 changed it up, Gears 4 did, Gears 5 did, Gears Judgment did, Gears 1's different. But if you want to play that style of game, Gears 2 still has it because they were a strong team that stuck with that development approach, and that's what they went for. Eventually, I got more used to the Gears 2 playstyle after adapting, and I was like, this isn't that bad. It's a different way of playing the game, but it's still satisfying in its own right, and with maybe a few tweaks, like before the TU6 shotgun came out, the game was brilliant. And with the amount of feedback that is on the game these days, I'm sure they'd probably think, yeah, you know what, everything else was good, but let's just revert that one change. And Gears 2 like remastered with good connections, and the old TU6 shotgun gone with like the launch roadie run no delay would be incredible. Even I can admit that. But Gears 5, it's like one time they're listening to the pros, so the escalation, the lancers, the two tunings get removed because they want to be basically, if you don't know, the two tunings were removed because the pros said, yeah, I understand the tunings for pro play, but I want to be able to play ranked King of the Hill. Got rid of two tunings, and people might think, yeah, one tuning is good, but the one tuning that came out was like half and half because it had to support the pro teams and it had to support like the solo players. Like a solo player's lancer in core Gears 4 and their shotgun, you could poke people and lancer people down on your own, so people didn't stack nearly as much because you were pretty effective on your own. Then if you wanted to go play competitive and stack up, the gameplay changed, and that makes complete sense to me. Now we've got this tuning where it's like you're kind of an effective player on your own, but you've got no chance against stacks, and there's no other game mode for you to play because King of the Hill forces stacks, and you've just got so many confusing things. Like, okay, we understand that the flashbangs are shit. oh, now we're going to rebuff the flashbangs. Yeah, wall bouncing is definitely an issue. So we've removed the adhesion when you bounce. Now we've re-added the adhesion when you bounce. And now we've realised that's a problem, so we're slowing down the back A. And the game like is just a mess. Yes, if you play it at face value, listen to me, I'm not an idiot. If you play the game at face value, and you know, if TC for some damn reason was still watching this video, if you play the game at face value, it's an alright game. I've told people that. Every video people ask me, Z, why do you play Gears 5 if you hate it so much? Why are you so negative? Not negative at all. I've actually really enjoyed my time playing Gears 5, but it's come to an end. It's come to an end because there's basically a new dev team in place. There's a whole new cast and crew of feedback people to know, and there's no direction. Like, before I get into it, when I go to look at like what's the dev up to, I'm not trying to bash them, I'm just trying to say this is the impression I get. I look through their account, there's nothing to do with Gears, it's complete radio silence, but there are tweets about, quote, living inside of a lefty bubble by choice because I hate the right wing. There are tweets about how South Park caused gays to be killed in the streets. These are tweets that she's done, she's liked. It paints this image of somebody that sort of like hates gaming culture. When asked about, somebody told her, hey, listen, Gears of War is mind-numbingly dull. We got the PR response of that's too bad, but I respect your opinion. So the impression I'm getting as the uninformed is like, here's somebody that doesn't have any interest or background in Gears. They're not talking to any of the Gears community. When somebody says Gears of War shit, she kind of agrees. All the other stuff that's going on, like Mass Effect just got released, right? Mass Effect just got announced there's going to be a remake of the trilogy. And she's like in tweets saying like the game's sexist and they should pull out the quote butt shots. It's like it's an 18 rated game with sex scenes in it, and the developer is like going out of their way to like share these posts of like cancel culture of like, yeah, there's these really bad shots in this game, it needs to go. You know, then you have like problems like Matt Adrenaline, right? Matt Adrenaline's like sat there wondering, why are we playing on laggy servers? And I'm like, we've been playing on laggy servers since launch. It's why the game's dead, period. It doesn't matter what balance they do. Doesn't matter what campaign they make, what maps they make. If it's 120 ping versus 30 ping, and both players feel like they're lagging, on top of the lag difference and the ping difference, it doesn't matter. And you've got TC, the new community manager, saying, oh man, the tags, people are tagging me. We've acknowledged the issues, but there's something more we need to chase up. And listen, I'm not trying to shit on them. He's got an impossible job. If he's not given the information, and he can't fix the servers himself, can he? So the community manager's just like people that you just beat with a stick, and they're like, yeah, the game's shit, and they're like, I know there's nothing I can do. So it's not TC Kilo's fault, but you can also argue, well, TC employed somebody that doesn't even play Gears. So not only is he unable to answer questions because they're not giving him the right tools to answer those questions, he also doesn't play the game, so he can't comment on any specific gameplay stuff. And the impression I get from Gears is just like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. How can you have bad servers since launch? How can you have people that seemingly don't care? Now, again, I'm not trying to say that this new developer doesn't care. Just because she has a private Twitter account or a personal Twitter account and she likes anime pictures and all of this stuff, that doesn't mean anything. But the point is, when TC are hiring, for me, surely you go out and you pick the best person for that job, regardless of gender, identity, race, colour, creed. You go and you pick who's the best person for this. And if you want a story with a female lead, or you want males kissing, or you want a non-binary love story, just go ahead and do it. I don't care one bit. But actually put it in the game because you think there's a reason for it, there's lore behind it, there's a reason for you doing it, and don't just do it for a checkbox. Like, the more I read about Gears of War, that they are hiring people that were made up mostly of women and non-binary people, and how to get that representation in the game. Listen, nothing's wrong with representation, but like, are they putting them in the game because their flags and all of this need to be in the game, or are they just doing it to get the good PR? Like, I'm getting confused. You know, Cliffy B, right? Cliffy B helped work on Hate Storm. He helped create a game with people from all backgrounds. There were strong characters, there was weak characters, there was male and female characters. Definitely he likes diversity. But even Cliffy B is saying it's too woke. He's literally saying they already did it. If you didn't notice, it's too woke. So this isn't about somebody being like anti-diversity or something. This is about like, what the hell are they doing? Like, literally, what the hell are they doing to the franchise? And I can say this because I have no allegiance to the franchise, like, or the people that work there anymore. I don't have any of that, right? So I just don't get it. I really don't get it. We seem to have these kind of like jarring posts where she can say, listen, I don't want people to be in Mass Effect looking at this woman's body, but it's bloody sexist. But at the same breath, she can be liking tweets that, quote, call them a big slamming pair, and also constant tweets about like this kind of Hades game, great game, Hades game. But it's just like, it's like body images, anime, but also at the same time, we don't like this, let's get this cancelled. We don't like South Park, let's get this cancelled. It's like, just, can we just please focus on Gears? Like, so you've got Training Grounds. It's like Robot FC, mate. It's like Boston Dynamics out there, mate. Robot FC. You've got that going on. And then you've got Nexus, like a Gears 2 Scorcher vibe. There's like this mixing pot of all random shit in a game that's got no weight. It's got no gore. When I uninstalled it and then I reinstalled it and I actually just took a cold hard look at the game, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Visually, the game's like jumping from one style to another, which is always a big no-no in a game. Also, it just looks too clean. The characters look too clean. You've got like these war-ridden characters that just look perfect. Kate looks perfect. And there's just... It really irked me when I was playing the game. The gun, like the sounds of the guns feel like they have no weight. It feels like I'm playing like this toy shooter. And then we've just got this. And I don't know. The game's staying uninstalled. It's just wild. I actually had a response from Cliffy B, which sort of inspired this video, because I told him, listen, mate, I absolutely adore you, mate. You created the franchise that I absolutely love, and you're still arguing on Twitter. You're still giving it to people. You're still sticking up for yourself, and you might have made some bad games and some good games, and you might have made some weird decisions. But the guy has got a spine, and it's refreshing to see a dev with strong visions and opinions, and they just argue it out and stick with it. I look at Gears 5's team, and it's like a desperation to appease everybody, and in the end, nobody gets appeased. I really miss the strong lead, and he was like, thank you. And I was like, no, listen, mate, thank you for creating Gears of War. And Terry says it's crazy to think that if he didn't create Gears, none of us we wouldn't be talking to each other today. We've made so many friends, and the community is brilliant. And I have to just say thank you to Cliffy B. Like, I did a video on years and years and years ago. Yeah, here it is, 8 years ago. And in this video, I was saying, listen, boys, you're all bashing Cliffy B for what he's done and how the franchise turned out. But trust me, mate, he's a superb developer, and you're gonna fucking miss him. And you can go back and hear my words 8 years ago, and I'm still chirping on the same thing, because this game, although it wasn't perfect, there's still 6 people in the game. This was when Cliffy B left, so it probably was like the end of Gears, like what, 2, 3? There's still 6 people in the game playing Gears 1 matches, right? And today I tried to play a quick match of Gears 5, and there was no players. Now, it might be that I'm on a PC, but the point is, the game's crossplay, and we're in an era where crossplay is very popular and PC is very popular. And so, if your game has no players, there's probably a reason. Now, they will tell me, hey, listen, mate, the game's not dead, yada, yada, yada. But can you imagine in, 16 years? In 16 years, when I'm not making videos and I'm probably freaking dead or something, and you'll look back at this if YouTube's still going, and you'll be like, oh, shit. You know, let's see if he was right. And you load up a game of Gears 5 in 16 years, you reckon you'll get a full lobby of people really trying their best to win? No, absolutely no chance. You reckon the ladder of ranked will be still going? You reckon you'll still be able to track your stats? Oh wait, there's no stats in the game. You want to know an example of like mismanagement? Mismanagement is they put the entire team to make the Gears of War stats, like kind of like the old school journal of Gears of War 2, right? but the team got pulled to make Gears Tactics. They must have had some inkling and some information about, hey, maybe we should either finish the stats because we've sunk so much time in and get a new team in to finish them because it's important, or we should have never done that in the first place because the team could get robbed, blah, blah, blah. The whole style is just very, very confusing. You can see here, you know, at least when it lagged on Gears 1, the game friggin' paused, mate, when people joined, you know. Now you just get an absolute crapshoot of lag. But man, I told you a year and a half ago that the game isn't worth your time, and I'm really sorry to say, but I was right. I didn't want to be right. I did not want to be right. I was hoping the game could be turned around. And again, because I'm an idiot, and because I'm, you know, a Gears fanboy at heart, I still think Gears of War could be turned around, but it's looking slim now. It's looking slimmer than it's ever been. I'll tell you why. When it was Gears 3 to Gears like Judgment and 4, Gears 3 still had like a rocking fan base, and the landscape of the game hadn't changed. It wasn't live services, and it wasn't battle passes, and I think given enough time, Gears of War could have learnt to go down that route, could have learned to have gone down that route, and you know, it could have taken on a world of its own. You know, maybe it could have gone down that route with the big fan base, but now it's like the game has been out a year. Game's been out a year, and it feels like it's on maintenance mode. Like the big community managers left, the devs left, the community managers left. No one else seems to be speaking. I don't know who the front of the game is. Maybe I'm completely wrong and it gets turned around and it's brilliant. Obviously, I'd like that. But the chance of that happening now is so slim. What it feels like to me, and my gut instinct tells me, they've made this trilogy, and what it did is it got a load of people on Game Pass, and Game Pass is very important for Xbox. Anyone that follows the industry knows this. It got a lot of people on Xbox, and that got them hooked on Game Pass, and that's a good thing for Microsoft. Now the game's relatively dead. Maybe they're changing the studio up. Maybe they're just people are leaving because they realise it's failing and they want better opportunities. Whatever the case may be, it feels like they're going to create Gears 6 and be like, listen, let's get the story out. Let's get a multiplayer out that works. And let's be done with it. I don't see some wholesale change to the way Gears works. I don't see an incredible array of content, unlocks, customization, battle pass, a live service that updates regularly. I don't see that happening for Gears 6. I don't see this fantastic art style coming back. Could be wrong, because we have seen Nexus. Nexus is promising. But even if the art style comes back, I feel like it'll be more of a call back to a different era, and it'll be kind of like, oh, this is what you wanted, here's what the game kind of looks like, gory, here's a bit of a campaign, here's some multiplayer, and let's wrap the franchise up. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like a franchise that's trying to reboot itself. Like, think about this, right? Think about when you think about the game Halo Infinite. What does Halo Infinite mean to you? Halo Infinite to me means like, we had Halo 1, 2, and 3 that people loved. Halo 4 was okay. Halo 5 didn't really go down well. We're now on a new console and we're taking the franchise back. That's what it feels like. Now, it could be absolutely wrong, but that's the image that's painted. When I think of Gears 6, which is akin to Halo Infinite, it's like, okay, we had Gears 1, 2, and 3 that were loved. Gears 4 was okay. We had Gears 5 and sort of Judgment that weren't well received. What does Gears 6 feel like to you? Does Gears 6 feel like a rebooting of the franchise? Well, for one, we've not heard anything about it, so it's many, many years away, most likely. And if it's not many, many years away, I certainly don't think they'll have learned from all of the mistakes and changed the direction massively. It doesn't feel like a reboot to me. It does not feel like a reboot to me. And I uninstalled Gears of War because I'm not addicted to the game. It might seem like I absolutely love the game and I can't stop playing it, but listen, I quit the game like 7 years ago and I explored a whole variety of games. You know, I moved on with my life, things happened, and it was only because we were very, very bored during sort of lockdown that I'd played Gears 4 with my friends. We played Core, and honestly, I did enjoy Core. You might say that's awful, but I did enjoy Core playing with my friends. The Gears 4 was alright. Was it perfect? No, but it was alright. You know, and I thought to myself, oh, have I been missing out on this the whole time? Then I came back to Gears 5, it was dreadful, and I made that video that kind of exploded. And then I was like, I really like Gears, and I've seen what it can be. I'm going to make a few videos and just put my thoughts out there and leave it for a couple months. I want to make a section of videos and leave it for a couple of months. But then I started to get subscribers, I started to build a little community, and I felt like I owed it to you to keep playing the game because you were being so supportive, and that's only fair. And I kept playing the game, and then lockdown happened, and then, you know, we've been trapped inside ever since, and I've been playing Gears 5 and making videos and enjoying it in my own way, but I'm more enjoying you guys, the community, and I'm hoping you transition with me to other games and stuff like that. And I'm not saying I'm dropping Gears forever, because you know me, I'll probably install it in 2 weeks and be like, let's give it another shot. But I want this to be known that there are some people that when they uninstall the game out of rage, they know they are coming back because it's the only game they play, it's the only game they're good at, and part of why people love Gears so much is they're good at it. So it's an old franchise, they've got good at it, and going into a different game where you suck isn't fun. They won't admit that, but most of the part of why people like Gears so much is most of the players are good at the game, and they're above average. So when new players come in, and you shit on them, it feels okay, but it also feels kind of boring, and that's kind of the problem. There's what ends up happening with Gears is that there's an influx of new players that you shit on, and then those new players don't stick around to get good, so then the community falls back to these core bunch of players that kind of gets tiresome to play against. That's the truth. And it's... when I play StarCraft or League of Legends or PUBG or a campaign game on my stream, I'd love to see you in there, but that's because I genuinely enjoy those games, and in the same manner that I enjoy Gears, you know? There's multiple games I enjoy and there's multiple games I play, and when I uninstalled Gears, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be back. It was like, I'm done with that. Like, I've had my year's fun out of it. I don't think the game's going anywhere. I'll revisit it if there's a big ranking system change or there's some big change, right? But I can see where it's going / gone, and I don't really want to be a part of that. And if you know, like yesterday, if somebody wants to come in my stream and say, oh, all you do is make negative videos and that's what you think of me, then you've completely misunderstood the channel. Anybody that's watched 1.5 years of my video would not call me a negative Gears 5 player if they understand truly what that means, because I've made positive videos on it and I've defended it in many instances. But there are a group of people that cannot quit Gears, and I feel sort of sorry for them because they're trapped in this bubble of like, it's the only game they're good at, it's the only game they like, and it's going to shit. And I'm telling you guys, like, go and explore some other franchises. I'm not saying quit Gears, I'm not saying quit Gears at all. What I'm saying is, go and play other games and other franchises, and you're going to suck at them. It's not going to be miserable. But then you might come across a game that you enjoy, and you might play it for 2 to 3 months, and then what will happen is you'll realise what Gears gives you that other games don't. That's what will happen. And then you can come back, and when you come back to Gears, whether it be in Gears 6 or in a few months, you'll probably enjoy your time a lot more because you're realising why you're coming on the game. Like, hey, I've enjoyed playing, let's use, say, I don't know, Valorant as an example. I've enjoyed playing Valorant for a few months and learning it, but it doesn't quite give me that movement or that certain something that Gears does. And then when you can go on Gears 5 or Gears 6 or whatever Gears you choose to pick, you can have fun because you know you're playing it for a reason, whereas a lot of people seem to just mindlessly play. So when I uninstalled the game, they were like, oh, you'll be back, and then when I did come back like a week later, they were like, oh, I told you you'd be back, you're addicted. It's got nothing to do with being addicted. I actually came back because I took a week out, I made some videos, I made my montage, which was coming out on Friday, and I was like, no, the Gears does give me something that the other games don't, and I'm going to give it another shot. And it unfortunately happened that what's really, you know, unfortunately for Gears is the 2 times I've come back. I came back and I had that huge laggy game on Clocked Out, which just put me in a bad mood. And like today when I came back, there was a weird rank ban. I couldn't get in any lobbies for 40 minutes, and then when I did, it was laggy and the game just wasn't competitive at all. I was like shooting the sky and we were winning like 180 to 0 in King of the Hill in a Masters lobby. That doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be able to be top of the ladder and walk around the map shooting the sky and still win. The matchmaking shouldn't be that uneven. And I'm not saying Gears is shit. Actually, Gears 5 in some instances is one of the best Gears games. People will laugh at me for that, but there are aspects of this Gears which are very, very good. I like how high tempo it is. You need a lot of APM to play. There's good rotations. There is sweaty spots. There is lancering. You can hit good shots. You know? There's a lot of good to the game. There really is. But at the moment, there's way, way more bad shit that affects the good things. Like, I like the shotgun pellet. Like, people will say, oh, I hate the hit markers. But actually knowing how much you brick somebody is massive to being consistent and skilled in outplaying people, because you know how much pellets you've hit. That's a great change. But then there's also like the issue of like, oh well, hit markers show through smoke, so smoke's kind of useless. And then there's like, setups are good, but they're also kind of over. It's just like, when I play the game, my head like hurts. I'm like, it's too much going on top of all of the netcode. You know, the netcode still is like, I'll slide to the left, I've learnt this movement, and I slide to the left, and the guy shoots where I was, and I died. And it's like, oh, am I meant to just accept that? Is that a thing? Because if it was Call of Duty, and every time you dashed to the left or something, you died even though you were to the left, people would moan about that and it would be fixed. So when people come to me and they say, your channel's just negative, it's exactly the same things that people said about Gears 2 and 3 and Gears and like sort of Judgment. People will come to my channel and my Twitch, they'll tune in and they'll just be like, yeah, you don't like Gears, you're just negative, why are you playing it? And they're completely misunderstanding. And it was really nice for a small period of time to have a community that understood that, listen, I don't dislike the game, I actually really like the game and I'm trying to help, and it's been wonderful that you guys have supported me. It now feels like I've got more people just telling me I'm negative and that the game's dead and I need to stop making videos, and I keep getting dislikes and I keep getting people pop into the stream that are just negative, like, personally to me. And it's like, I don't want to play a game and have to deal with that on top. Like, the game I'm not really enjoying that much, and then, you know, there's parts of the Gears community that have sort of trickled into me that I don't really like. So listen, I'm probably going to be playing a few other games. I'm still me. I'm still the guy that likes to review games, that likes to play the games critically, that tries to be good at them and tries to give tips and tries to help. And I'm hoping, you know, maybe it's blind faith, but I'm hoping this year and a half has shown you that I'm a pretty fun content creator. I hope so. And that you will tune in if I start playing the Halo 4 campaign like I did the other night, or I play another playthrough, that you will tune in and watch, and you'll give me a chance. I'm not saying you're going to like all the games, but also it's a good chance for you to maybe, if you are one of those players that only plays Gears, maybe to tune in for half an hour, ask some questions, you know, and figure out what other games are out there, not to move on from Gears, but to just take a step back and realise what Gears does for you. So that's what I've got to say about Gears 5. Right now, it just, when I go on the game, I really can't stand it. The art style irritates me. The lack of cohesion between, sometimes the game's slow, sometimes it's fast, sometimes shots are really, really clear. Like, I'll land a headshot and I'll be like, that was crisp, that was snappy. Other times I'd be like, did I even hit that guy? Did that guy even hit me? It's a completely jarring experience, and it's not something I'm enjoying at all. So listen, that we've got like a few more videos to make. I want to see you all on Friday for the montage. I've made a pretty hype montage. That's it really. That's all I've got to say. It's just been, it's kind of disappointing, because it's just, there was like a period in Gears 5. There was like a period in Gears 5 where I was like, man, I actually think this game could go somewhere. Like, this actually could go somewhere. There are content creators out there. There are people out there that are much, much bigger than me. They'll get 10 times my views. They'll post a video. You know, they'll just start their YouTube. I've seen someone recently, they'll just start their YouTube video. Boom, everyone gets 10k views. And everyone like amps them up because they're super positive. And it's like, I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that, like, how do I call it? Like, I didn't just want to post when I was in the mood to post Gears 5. Does that make sense? Like, I could have just made 100, like, I could have, let's say, over the course of like 500 days, I could have made like 80 really fun videos and just left it, and people probably would have subscribed and been like, oh, this guy is like super fun, he makes Gears seem really fun, I'm going to follow him, and it might have been more successful. Probably 99% of would have been. But I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to be like, listen, last time I played Gears, I had a big community, and when my channel was deleted, I was like a nameless gamer tag, and I hadn't really talked to them as viewers. I sort of made viewers and posted it, but I never really connected with the viewers, so I kind of drifted away. This time, I'm hoping if I do stop playing Gears, or I do take a break, that there will still be people out there watching the other content because they know me as a person now. Maybe that's naive or arrogant, I don't know. But I wanted to put this video out there as a honest thing, because there's not enough honest YouTubers out there. They only post when they're happy, they have a front, they create a picture of what people want to see. Whereas I was like, listen, I'm going to show you that I'm going through the motions with this game because I care. And ultimately, it's probably come to an end. But it's been a hell of a ride, hasn't it, boys? It's been a hell of a ride.